Welcome back to Reign of the Contest and Tanares Adventures here. Flank 6 continuing this reveal series with the next 3 new heroes to the Tabletop Simulator mod. We've got Gaknak, the Red Dragon Blade, who's a brute. Ravel, the Mad Walker, who is a tactician. And then Yemi, the Succubus of Envy, who is a controller. We're going to go over each of those 3 controllers today, or these 3 characters today. All right, so Gaknak, he is kind of a slightly defensive brute character, but he can still pack quite a bit of punch. So Dragon Scales, 9 damage on hit, range 2 ability. Another enemy in range 5 takes damage equal to its current defense stat. I call this the Tank Buster ability because that's really what this is. This is designed for, is to go against tank characters who have higher defense stats and maybe get a protected status and be able to use that against them to do quite a bit of damage. All right, Dragon Wings. Great ability to move and absorb some damage there. So that move 3, ignoring terrain, means essentially you're flying over that lava or that spikes because you're not going to take any damage using that benefit move going over those. And it's 13 damage on hit, which is quite a strong hit for an on-hit ability. And then the effect, if brutality was not triggered. So this is kind of the downside of that there, but you are toughened 3 once per turn, which is actually really good. So you can reduce a lot of damage for Gaknak, but still do quite a bit of damage back with that ability. All right, moving on to his specials here. Dragon Claws, the benefit of dealing +6 damage if your passive is triggered, which of course you're always trying to do. 18 damage on hit, and the permanent effect you get is your passive deals +6 damage to its triggering target in addition to its original effects. So you're going to get quite a bit of damage with this ability. You're going to be getting a consistent amount of damage from this character with this ability up. So fantastic ability to keep that damage up for Gaknak. And then Dragon Breath, which is actually identical to the Dragon Breath for Sidura, the Blue Dragon Blade, which is kind of, they usually have very similar ones. In this one, they are actually the same. So all enemies that are in a straight line will take damage for each 3 damage per square. It is away from Gaknak, so you want to hit this as far away as possible, and you can do quite a bit of damage to all the enemies that are in the way there. All right, let's move on to Ravel. Well, let's look at the miniature real quick. So there's Gaknak's model there. At least that's his model, but not the actual sculpt. The sculpt, I'm not sure exactly if it looks identical to that or not. It's been a little while since I've seen them, so hopefully we will be able to get those photos up for you guys soon so we can check out what he actually looked like. Moving on to Ravel, the Mad Walker. There she is going through the Gate of Madness. All right, Ravel here, Aberrant Madness, benefit, move an enemy in range 3 of you. Getting to move an enemy closer or away from you is always good. Then 9 damage on hit. You must apply Blessed on the target once per turn and make a range 2 basic attack against the target if it has no allies in range 2 of it. So Ravel's character very much relies on this like benefit or pro and con aspect of where you're doing something that can do quite a bit of damage for this character, but then at the same time she also kind of is making the enemy a little bit stronger or making something worse for herself. So for example, Blades of Agony, benefit, you move 2 in a single direction, so getting some move, always good. 15 damage on hit. That is probably one of the hardest on hit abilities in the game, at least for a primary. And then the effect is you must apply Expose 3 on yourself once per turn. So that does make you more vulnerable to getting hit by other characters. All right, moving on to specials. Web of the Arachna. Range 2. The drawback is if active on you, end Eye of the Auger's effect, which is the other special ability. So don't worry about that. But 24 damage on hit, and the effect is permanent. While in range, one of you enemies are slowed. This is a great one against any range character, really. I'd say especially shooters would be excellent against, because they really want to get away as much as they can so they can get their passive. And this is going to prevent them from doing that, because they'll be constantly slowed if you can get on top of them. All right, Eye of the Auger, range 8, ability 1 enemy. Drawback, same thing as the Web of the Arachna, where you're canceling the other effect. 24 damage on hit. The effect permanent. All effects an enemy would apply on one of its allies in range 5 of you are applied on you instead. If the effect has choices, you make them. So that's actually incredibly powerful. It's basically like having a really large aura around you that allows you to get those effects instead of your enemies. So if you're around anybody that you think might be, getting low or something, you can take those from that intended target, or make your enemy second guess what they should be doing. So that is Ravel, the pro and con hero from the Tanares RPG, and I believe the character pack. All right, last one up here is Yemi, the Succubus of Envy, Tanares Adventures character. So Fatal Kiss. So I guess before I start, Yemi is all about luck, luck and rolls. Either she will do not super great damage, or she'll do an insane amount of damage. This is probably, in my opinion, could be one of the highest damage controllers in the game. Maybe even one of the better characters too. But we'll kind of see once people get to play it for themselves. Fatal Kiss, 9 damage on hit. Another enemy takes damage equal to half your natural roll. So the natural roll, right, is you roll that dice, and whatever you roll, they will take half of that in addition to your on hit damage there. So since usually the lowest character's chance of you actually hitting is a 6. Going by that, you would add that rounding it in half, which is 3. So 3 plus 9, 12 damage at a minimum for Fatal Kiss. Otherwise, if you get a 20, then you would get, and that's a critical hit, obviously, you would get 10 damage plus the 9, so 19 damage plus that 5 more, so 24 damage on Fatal Kiss if you get that a crit. So that is a really, really good amount of damage. All right, Blood Petals, 11 damage on hit. The effect, move the target 1. If you rolled an even natural number, obviously that means same thing again, rolling that dice naturally, no dice modifications from some of the other abilities is what that means. Then the target is bleeding 2, ends if used. So bleeding 2 is at the end of a bleeding combatant's move action. It takes 2 residual damage per square it entered, spending movement points. So if you're moving around a lot, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So generally with bleeding, you want to move as little as possible. So it's a good way for controlling that positioning of the enemy. There is some other caveats to that too, like other effects and things, certain those not triggering that, but we'll worry about that later. All right, Wheel of Fortune, the special attack here, range 8. Benefit before striking, make 2 guesses about the roll. It rolls 13 or less or 14 or more, and the roll is odd or even. So you make both of those guesses. 20 damage on hit. For each correct guess, another enemy takes 10 damage, cannot apply twice in the same enemy. So this one, really awesome ability there. You can put out a ton of damage. Actually, just a little background here. When I saw this ability, it was slightly different from this, and it got modified because the original effect allowed you to just absolutely wallop one character instead of being forced to switch it between enemies. So I think that was a very needed improvement, and glad that got fixed. All right, Mysterious Box, range 8, 18 damage on effect. The effect is if the roll was odd, heal 18 or an ally, or revive a dead ally with 15 HP and no special attacks. If it was even, deal 18 damage to another enemy, or deal 4 damage to all enemies and move them 3, including the target. So this one's very, very luck based. If you are trying to use this on a ally character and you don't get that that odd roll, then obviously you're not going to be too happy about using this ability. So it's hard with this one because you can't really control it. It's only really up to the dice to decide, but you can choose a little bit into which effect you choose. So there is a little bit of a benefit, even if it is mostly reliant on the dice. So anyway, that is Yemi, the Succubus of Envy, the controller, Ravel, the Mad Walker, and Gaknak, the Red Dragon Blade. So these are the 3 brand new characters here now added to the Tabletop Simulator mod. I hope you guys enjoy this. Sorry I couldn't make it as a live one today, but maybe next week we will be able to get back to that. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you think by making sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks.